That's Mount Jefferson. Hood's in front of you. Once you come up here and you realize this is the greatest place on earth, you never want to leave. Like, look out there, as far as you can see,
Yeah.
way out there in the distance, there's people out there sitting in traffic trying to get to Starbucks. That's not the case here. This is a no stoplight town.
Let's go to Shaniko, see the pretty stars, kick your boots off, we'll pick behind the barn, get the banjo out, the old fiddle ring, come on down.
So you came here, just drove through town?
Drove through town. I was living in San Francisco at the time, and my husband and I were up for a bluegrass festival, and we made a new friend there who suggested we come to Shaniko to do some picking, so we came on out, and I asked him what the cross streets were. I thought, I don't know the address, I don't know the area well, and he just laughed, and I was stressed out the whole way, and I got here and I understood as soon as I got here.
How many streets are there? Like,
There's A through F, and then there's 1 through 6.
not a lot of houses though.
Not a lot of houses, so we get creative with our housing.
Yeah, so this is the last remaining homestead in Shaniko. It was built in 1894, I think, 1896? 1894.
99, and this was 97.
1899. And then most of the town was all here in the middle. And the fire in what, like
1910 and 1911, there were 2 consecutive fires.
And so it burned out most of the town. And then a man named Ed Martin came here in the 50s, and he figured out how to move buildings. So he started taking the buildings that were left over and rebuilding the downtown area. So they are original buildings, they're just not in their original spot.
I know Ed's son owns the post office, which has recently been painted, and some of the buildings.
It's the new post office. It was built in 1962.
And then I live in these goofy little blue houses over there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you came to town and you just liked the smallness of it, the remoteness?
I liked the human element. The flagpole didn't have a flag on it at the time, and we had a flag in our van, so we hoisted it up, and the locals came out and were singing "My Country 'Tis of Thee," and I thought, how do we do this? So my husband said, well, the gas station's for sale. It had been closed for a while, which is part of the reason people were stopping. They were asking where gas was. It was 94 miles between gas stations at the time.
There's only 2 roads that go north and south through Oregon, I-5 and Highway 97. That's Highway 97. See where that 18-wheeler's coming? And it doglegs right here through the middle of town. This is the south side of Shaniko, and the north side is on the other side of 97. Okay. So all the cars now, you'll see that guy who just went there in that blue 18-wheeler, he's going to pop out right over there. So we get a lot of truck traffic.
So as far as buying a gas station,
We came up here and we were playing music on the porch of the old hotel, and we couldn't get through a single song without somebody pulling up crying that they couldn't get from Spokane to Bend on a single tank of gas, and the locals were selling gas for $20 a gallon. And so we looked into the gas station and we found out it had gone for a sheriff's lien sale. So we just got in the truck and drove down there and just cold called him and bought it on a handshake.
so you bought this. This was like this when you bought it?
There were the old school pumps from, I don't know, the 60s or 70s where you had like the roll ticker.
Oh, yeah.
And so we put in the card readers because the law had changed.
They changed the law in Oregon so you can self-serve now. And so that made it a glorified vending machine on the side of the road.
So you're living in San Francisco and you think, well, just buy a gas station.
It's a weird connection, I guess.
Yeah.
You learn as you go. And that kind of just taught me if you start saying yes to things you don't know how to do, then you just have these great experiences. And the inside of the gas station we redid. We sell ice, we give away popsicles, and we sell the gas.
Cool. Oh, you have your guitar set up.
We were jamming last night, and my husband plays a stand-up bass. Like I said, we play bluegrass music.
Cool.
Welcome to our weird, non-little store.
You bought the gas station and your own home.
House was not here. When we came up here, we had an RV that we lived in for years and years.
And then you thought, get something more permanent.
Mm-hmm. It's really hard to get construction workers out here to do any sort of building. We've had a couple folks come out, but they're driving from so far. We don't quite get the follow through on it. And with us having 25 people in town, it's tricky. So we connected with Tamarack Sheds and challenged them to put something together that had more insulation, was more like a home. So they're all movable buildings. They're not permanent structures.
That's the loophole.
That's the loophole.
So you're allowed a certain size. What's the size?
200 square feet or less without the building permit.
How did you divide it?
So we've got the kitchen bath over there.
Okay.
We've got the living room here, bedroom, and then little guest house.
Oh, it looks tiny.
That was the very first one that we got, not quite knowing what we were going to do with it. And we still had the RV, and we thought, well, friends can come over and they can sleep here. Izzy's not in there, but it might be like teenage boy space right now.
Okay.
And this being the first one, not knowing what we were going to do with it, it doesn't have the insulations. The others are insulated once we realized, all right, there's something here.
Yeah.
It's a different way of life. It's kind of like alternate universe almost, in a way that's hard to explain. We all have phones and we use them, but it's more, I just found that in a small town, people were more personable and straightforward. And then you can come outside and look around and say, well, what's everybody doing? All right, well, I see Scott's there. I could go hang out with him. I see there's a kite flying. Okay, cool. I wonder what's going on the other side of town. But people are outside, and they're just chatty and they want to hang out, which sometimes is different than living in a big city where you come home and kind of turn on TV.
It's fun. You see what everyone's doing. You literally can see all of town.
Yeah.
For everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I just go over if I see somebody. I don't know, when I was a kid, you could go outside and knock on someone's door, Mom, can I go play? So it feels like stepping back in time.
So you came to town and you bought the chapel?
There you go. This little square of land here, including the little homestead back there as well.
So this chapel is how old? I mean, it doesn't even look very, very sturdy. It looks like it's tilting.
1897, this place was built, and it was originally a schoolhouse 9 miles down on Bake Oven Road. And I found the diary of the first teacher who taught. She was 16 years old out of the Dalles, and she would come down. It was, I guess, a full day's trip at the time, so she would stay with some families of kids she taught.
16 years old?
She had gotten top grades on all of her studies. And so it was later in the 60s that this was brought down the highway and placed here as a chapel.
Okay.
So that was Jim Hogan who did that, and he performed weddings here.
So there were services held here?
I don't know that he did regular services, but he did have regular weddings. And
Because it's so small. It's such a small town. I mean, how many?
25, 30 people-ish.
Okay.
And it's been like that for 30 or 40 years. Way down, in Longest Georgia, I'd rather be back in Tennessee.
So not really enough to have a minister in town.
We don't have a minister in town. Mark and I are both ordained to be able to perform weddings. We've done a couple of them. There are a couple of the ceremonies that we've done. We've had folks come and they don't have any family members or friends or doing the eloping thing. So we invite the town to come, which is just the most lovely thing. So the bride's over there getting ready. People are sitting in the pews and I hear the chit chat. They're all introducing each other before the wedding, and it just, that's makes me the happiest. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
That's you over here?
Yeah.
So do you know the history of the homestead?
From my understanding, there was an older woman whose adult daughter was trying to leave her relationship, which was unusual at the time, some sort of battered wife situation. And then so older mom dressed up daughter, gave her a boy haircut and disguised her. And they traveled and they ended up settling here. And so they lived in this home. And my understanding is they did quite well for themselves. They became business women, which again, at the time, quite rare. The gentleman who lived here in the 60s, my understanding was he was a collector, we'll say, not a hoarder. So we'll take a look.
But a lot of this looks original. The wood all, I mean.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at the wood and put together a theory of what was original, what was added on. Where did it start? But I did some pulling up of this laminate, the brick laminate, and underneath that was newspapers, which is something cool. So there's a little mix of items in here from the last time someone was living. Tapioca pie fillings, and we've got these handwritten recipes, which I just think is gold. I try to leave notes I find. This one's from 1993, a receipt. There's a check from 1978 for, 10 cents, never cashed. So it's a two-bedroom place. In my theory, looking at the different wood, and again, I don't know, is that perhaps there were, sort of add-ons through time.
Original paper?
Original, what does original mean?
Right.
There are different layers of paper. It was all covered. I started taking it down because there were water stains. Particularly, the roof was all wallpapered as well. So I started digging in, and there were layers of it. So I kind of left it, and then you've got the cloth, I suppose. It's insulation.
How sound do you think it is? Because over the years, you can see that it has settled on a foundation that was probably not in the best shape, but it seems sound. Have you come to that's my point. When you
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. And even with the chapel, I saw pictures from when it was placed. When it was placed, it always had that lean to it. And we could do jumping jacks in there too. I just think they built things a little bit better back in the day.
yeah, and the logs in the walls tell you that they are sound.
Mm-hmm.
The floor just tilts.
Oh yeah, we'll go to the tiltiest spot over there in the next bedroom. This is where we start to get a little slopey.
Oh yeah. Is this the slopiest?
Not slopiest. We're leading up to the slopiest.
Look at that stove. I haven't seen anything with that shape.
This one I was trying to look for a date on. You got the old iron? So then the tiltiest. The tiltiest is down here. and clearly we're getting wind flow through the...
Right. There's not a lot of house left to protect you from the elements.
But look at these planks. It's a dry climate, so these planks are just fine. You know, look, this trim here. This is just fine.
Just figuring out how to do insulation. How do you insulate something they're beautiful, so in a way you don't want to cover them up, but...
Well, there's the balance, I know.
Right.
And obviously this junk is from the 70s. We've disconnected this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This cloth was covering the entirety of the place. Beneath it is newspaper. And so you notice you don't get the air draft here. So I think that's how it was handled by whoever was living here. And it also was on the ceiling as well, which I've taken down. Which was great because it released a lot of dirt.
You see by this gives you a clue by the fact that they integrated in the door what the building had done to settle. That means that the last time the house was used, it was already...
Nothing in Shaniko is plumb. I encourage you as you go look at each building, if you hold it up, nothing is plumb. The number of doors in this place is a little silly to me too. So this is the front door, and then of course the door we came through from the kitchen into the living room, and then there's another door that goes out this way that's barred off, I suppose hasn't been used in a while. And then the side door we came in. There's also a door straight back at your 1 o'clock that's painted black next to the sink. And then the less flowery spot. This will give you an idea of a little bit of how it started. So yeah, this is just covered, piled up, that not functioning. And then this actually goes through to that first bedroom as a walk-through.
A pantry or something?
Yep, and I mean, you've got all sorts of gross stuff in there that I haven't touched yet.
Just uncovering layers of decades.
Yeah, it's like rings on a tree. I don't know why that ring is so big. Was there a fire that year? Was there a flood? I just know. Well, it looks like this.
Is it plumbed?
We turned on the water and I don't think it's on right now. And it came out, there was a lot of aeration in there. So we did some repair to the pipes, realized we don't need plumbing in here right now. But we did find out, yes, it is plumbed. I don't know what the deal with the septic is. I feel like there must be one if there's a toilet. Yeah. But yeah, still uncovering the puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the roof too. It's just like started to grow.
Yes. Yes, it has.
I mean, you see how some of the tiles are gone.
Oh, absolutely.
They just get blown.
And they always end up over there. And it's the same idea with the chapel. This east side of the roof is pretty intact, although the other side.
It's because the wind always comes from this direction.
If it's not coming from that direction, you know something's wrong. My understanding is last time the roof was done, they didn't take off the tower to do the shingles. So there's water damage. It's the Shaniko way. It's getting creative. And then we always tell people it's good luck to ring the bell.
Why did you want to buy a old homestead?
To save it? It's a slow process. You get creative with it, but I feel like that's the Shaniko way.
And do you have to worry about permits and zoning codes out here?
It depends. The last comprehensive land use plan is from 1978.
Does it keep going back?
There's a couple houses back here, one little I should call them homesteads. It just means to me, it means just old original house, creative house. And then at the very end, there's one more residence.
And do you know your neighbors?
All of them.
So it's really a community.
It is like we all cut the grass, and this is fire season, and all that long grass is fuel. So we try and keep it down. I've got about 9 people on the fire department.
Are you a volunteer? Are you part of the fire?
I'm the fire chief.
You're the fire chief now. Oh, okay.
How's it going, Stacy? Everything go well with the water test?
Yeah, I think it did.
Cool, awesome.
Are you from here?
Yeah, I'm from across the street.
Long time?
4 years now.
Nobody's from Shaniko. Well, there's one, Alex. Alex wasn't born here, but he's been here since he was 4, 3. There's one native son. Everybody else is transplants.
And Stacy's on city council with me.
So there's how many?
There are
3 right now.
3 right now. We've got an open seat. There will be 4 counselors. There's an opening for mayor, and we've got a city recorder also. And then we meet once a month and more frequently as need be.
Got the big battery charger that was in the corner. I put it on the other battery.
Feel like a tourist. Only the tourists walk in Shaniko. Everybody else drives their town cars.
What are the town cars?
Well, the quad,
Okay.
the K-truck, the lawnmower, the tractor. Thanks, Stacy.
So are more people coming?
They trickle in and out. It's not easy living up here. You have to plan ahead. Well, it's 40 miles one way to the grocery store. And half the people in town are octogenarians, and the other half don't have driver's license. So if we make a run, I mean, that's not blanket statement true, but there's a lot of people without driver's license. So if we're making a run into town, we tend to pick up stuff for people.
Yeah.
We shop, we probably go down once a month.
There's always something to grab.
Yeah. But we'll take our coolers down and load them up and then do the shopping for the month. Hi, Kenny.
Hi.
Those buildings are in their original location. Obviously, the wool barn is in its original location. This was the wool capital of the world, 1910. There were 1 million sheep grazing out here. And the Columbia Southern Rail Line came up from Biggs Junction and terminated right here at the wool barn. You see how it's artificially lifted up like that? That's the old train bed. So the train would come up here and it would go all the way down to Biggs Junction, carrying the wool. And they would ship the wool, they would take the wool up the Columbia River and then ship it out all over the world. And there were 650 people in town at that time. This is the original stagecoach stop. There was 3 hotels and 2 brothels and a bunch of houses. It was, Old West for sure.
Is the gun for animals?
BB gun,
Yeah.
scare away starlings. Maybe I'll shoot a rattlesnake in the mouth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Usually we catch the rattlesnakes and cut their heads off. Quads are considered the modern day horse. Most of the ranchers, they do ride, but they also have horses.
Uh-huh. This is where the sheep were.
That's the wool barn. That's where they would bring their stalls in there. They'd bring the sheep. They would shear the sheep and bring the wool to the market. They would sell it in here. And one of the great things about wool is that it's naturally full of lanolin. And lanolin is a natural insect repellent. So there's not a single bug inside that building. We're on top of the old train bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, you can see how it's elevated.
Oh, yeah. When did the train disappear?
The last train service was in 1971. Was the last passenger rail. You can see there's a lot of crap out here. There's all the metal sticking out of the ground. There used to be silos out here.
There used to be what?
Silos. See, this is the old foundation from an old brothel. Yeah, there's a lot of rusty gold out here. Look at all those cans.
So much.
If you think about it, there were 650 people here in 1917.
Oh, a lot of cans.
And this is our fire department. I bought that truck for the city about 5 years ago.
How do you go about buying a fire truck?
I had a contact down in LA at the prop house. That fire truck right there was in the movie Backdraft.
No.
Are you familiar with that movie?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one Jennifer Jason Leigh and William Baldwin were sleeping on top of.
This is the little tiny,
This is a Japanese fire truck, yeah.
instead of taking something big out, if you had it.
We lost our brush rig. So what we did is we took these totes, those 300-gallon totes that are outside, and I've put them strategically around town. So then the Japanese fire truck pulls up next to the tote. So this is the pump, and this racks out like this. And then we can fire up the pump and then pump the water that's in the tote while the bigger truck is trying to get on scene. This one can get there real quick. All right, off we go.
Wow. This is the deal here.
It is. It's a beautiful day for this.
Uh-huh.
So this right here is a water tote with a cover. Now that's full of water. That's where the Japanese fire truck, I can pull up and I can suck water out of that and spray this area if the post office catches fire, if there's a fire on the boardwalk or a grass fire. We also try and keep the grass very short because grass is fuel. Yeah, it's part of my plan to keep the town safe with water depots. I call them like muster stations. So here's a little place for rent.
Oh.
I think it's a couple $100, $200 to $400, I'm not sure. But there's nowhere, it says sign says for rent right there in the window. I think it'd be great for a barber shop or a,
You couldn't use it as a house.
I wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
And this is the pastime. This is the pool hall, foosball, little poker table, music, where we hang out there. And,
You do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so then you see, here's the auto museum. Have you been into the auto museum?
No.
There's some really cool vehicles in there. You should go in there.
Okay.
There's another muster station, a water depot. And here's another one.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have them strategically located about the distance apart that it would take me to stretch a hose. Because I'm very concerned about fire. I'm very concerned about people losing their property, losing their house, or getting injured. If you're in an emergency around here, it most likely be a life flight situation, which could cost you around $40,000, which is money people don't have.
Yeah.
So this is our transfer station. Every Friday, the fire department goes around and picks up everybody's garbage and puts it in the dumpster.
I use my pickup truck and I pull a utility trailer and I drive around town and we take all the bags. And the one rule is that it has to be in a bag. And so like those yellow fire trucks over there, the federal government came and dropped those off 25 years ago and left them there.
That's our fire hydrant. Not quite as much pressure as a fire hydrant, but we've got 6 of those around town.
So I have 750 feet of hose on the fire engine. So I can get 750 feet from that. And that's the problem because there's people further away than that.
So many details to think about.
I know. I've lost some sleep thinking about somebody in town falls asleep with a cigarette in their bed, and then I've got to break the law by going in and saving them because nobody in town has Structure 1 certification and is authorized by law to go in and rescue a person out of a burning building. That doesn't mean we wouldn't do it. We would, and we'd suffer the consequences afterwards. But
So no, you don't even have that. Nobody has.
nobody in town has that. No, this is what we call wildland urban interface. So we put grass fires out and protect the homes and the buildings from encroaching wildfire. And then if a house gets fully engulfed, we will protect the house next door.
So here, this is all part of Shaniko here?
This is all, we're still inside the city limits, sort of, the state road. And the water system, the city owns the property that the water system's on. The last time the water system was updated was 1985. There are 5 spring boxes that feed it. We were only able to find 2 of them. Historical memory is lost where they are. So they're all in this, well, this is where the spring comes through, and all this vegetation drinks up a lot of our water.
My theory is that all this greenery is drinking our water. We're probably going to cut that back here soon. There's 1 spring box up the hill that way, and then there are 4 on the other side of the highway, and they all feed underground into the reservoir.
Yeah. So I had to come through here with my tractor and clean all this up. The brush was up.
Wow.
It was not accessible. This is the 120,000 gallon reservoir. So we have a high-tech way of measuring the water system. You got to flip the lid up. This is our reservoir. It's 120,000 gallons.
So there's running water.
Yes, it's constantly filling. So we have a very high-tech system for measuring our water level. It's called a hickory stick.
It's also very reliable.
It is very reliable. More reliable than a digital system. So we take this, let me stick it down in here.
But there was a situation about a year and a half ago where there weren't enough eyes on the level, and so the level went down and the pump burned up. So that's something that is expensive to fix. We want to make sure that we don't get to that situation.
Pull it up. It's like checking your oil in the car, right? So we are at 7'6". Each foot equates to about 10,000 gallons. You can see the numbers: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're at 7'6". In the winter, it's higher. The hotel has 18 rooms. Well, there's only 18 households in this whole town. So on the weekends, if the hotel's booked up, every room in the hotel has a shower and a toilet. Not every house in town has a shower and a toilet.
If it gets down to something like 4 feet, then we start talking about don't water your lawns in the afternoon. We want to make sure that there's enough.
However, green grass fights fires.
That secondary reservoir that will be built probably in 12 to 16 months will help that.
This will be the reservoir that collects the water. We'll pump it uphill to the next reservoir, and that reservoir will then pump to the houses. Right now, we're pumping from this reservoir to all the houses.
Right now in Shaniko, there's a flat rate for water. We have old water meters, they don't get read.
Well, the meters are broken. All the meters are broken. And we don't have anybody to read the meter anyway. That would be me. It would be another job for me. This is a city property. Here's an old building here that's fallen down. I want to take all the boards and repair a boardwalk from that old building. Well, the city makes money 2 ways. Well, 3 ways, I guess. The property tax was just a little bit. We own the trash, they own the dump station and the water. So everybody pays about $50 for trash or water. So this is where Forrest lives. He's also on our department. He's been without water for over 1,000 days. We're working really hard to get him water. That's all inside the city limits. That's B Street, 2nd Street over there. They're platted, but they're not actually. You know what I mean?
We had the cram fire just recently creeping up the hill. Luckily, we didn't get the brunt of it. It didn't end up coming up here. We had an evacuation notice, but the winds were in our favor. But even something negative like fire, I believe, can bring the community together because we're all concerned and sharing information and taking care of one another.
Yep.
We had a local resident. He got gravel delivered at his place, but he filled in some of the potholes because the roads around here just get...
That's nice of him.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
This is where we had to dig. We found a leak back here that was over 3 years old, and it had super saturated the ground, and the ground gave out and the water started heading that way. We fixed it ourselves with the backhoe right there. Yeah.
Oh, that's your backhoe?
That's a city backhoe.
How did you learn how to drive a backhoe?
I'm a guy from Georgia. Everybody knows how to run a backhoe if you live around here.
I don't want to know how because then I'll have to do it. But this is the original City Hall building, another original Shaniko building.
Was this some sort of...
That's the bell. It's a fire bell. That's before they had radios or cell phones. You'd have to hit that bell to call everybody in town to come rushing to put out a fire. It's like the hickory stick. It never breaks.
And we were talking about foundation a little bit earlier.
That's what holds the buildings up. Oh, that's original.
Basic. I guess it works. Well,
This is not earthquake country.
okay.
That does make a difference.
It does. Here's the jail. So here you can go in.
Oh my gosh.
This is original. Going in there, I'll shut you in.
It's actually a kind of a beautiful wooden jail.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
This is the marshal's desk. The people like to come in, the tourists like to come in and put their feet up and pretend like they're the marshal. Spit in the bucket.
Right. Is there any police around?
If you call the sheriff, they come from 75 miles away one way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his name is Kyle.
Yeah, right.
So you know. Like,
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, we know the Stadies, everybody that comes through.
Yeah.
Everybody comes and visits Shaniko's most popular tourist attraction,
Which is.
the bathroom. 40 miles to the next bathroom, 60 if you're going north.
Hi guys. There was huge buildings all around here, but this is kind of rangeland, fire central out here. So probably the only reason the hotel is still standing is because of its masonry construction. Because there was this was not originally the Shaniko Hotel. It was originally the Columbia Southern Hotel, which the railway was the Columbia Southern Railway. So they were the ones that built the hotel because they were basically the hub of all the activities, you know, the sheeping activities that were here. When we kind of acquainted with the town, at that point, the blue building was the grocery store. She's now Antiques and Knickknacks. She was open and she actually did groceries. The Raven's Nest has been, I'm not sure how long she's been here, but quite some time too. And then basically the post office, I think, was the only active, I'm just trying to look here, buildings other than City Hall that was active when we showed up. This hotel, this was one of the oldest buildings that was constructed here, built in 1902. Actually, the bricks on the outside were kilned within about 10 miles of here. Now the soil out here is perfect for that. It's a heavy clay. That's always been consistent with brick making. This is original equipment.
These are traditional.
It's a switchboard.
1907 to 1946.
So originally this was a dining area. And the bank was originally on the other end of the building where the cafe is. And sometime in the early 1920s, they kind of swapped positions, is why you see the vault here now. And there's a picture on the wall over there that shows what the bank looked like in 26. You can see here there's a chain. So chain, pulleys, you know, gearing. See, here's the hotel. So you can see all the buildings that were here during that era. I mean, it was a bustling place. Like this big old freight wagon here. The streets here are really, really wide, and that was one of the reasons why, was because it took so much room to turn a wagon around with a team of 6.
Hey, look at all these sheep.
And this is out here. This is the big building that says Shaniko on it. This is where all the shipping took place.
What Shaniko is actually known for is its shipping. There were wool sales set into the millions of dollars on wool sale days, and the buyers would come in on the train, which was right over here on the other side of the wool barn. The barns are designed where the names of the ranchers were on the beams. And so they would stack all their wool. Well, they'd come in and make their deals, and then they'd go to the telephone and make plans for shipping. In 1903, they had a wool sale of $5 million. And this is 03. So yeah, there was just volumes. But you'd had an industry growing for 40 years. They continued to have wool sales here, and I read about one in 23 that was still record-breaking.
What about homesteading? Because we talked with Pam about her homesteading cabin. Do you know any of the history of?
In 1862, the Homestead Act went in.
Is that a typical size homestead with a chapel there?
Well, 160 acres or 360. There were several. There were actually several homestead land, but land out here is marginal for farming. A lot of people thought they could come and farm. Well, when they knew they couldn't, they would sell their homesteads. So that's when you began to get a collection of bigger ranches. Because when the Oregon Trail folks were coming through, they bypassed all this because this was not it. This was not good land. Well, what happened when the ranching became big in the homestead, you had the people who knew sheep settling this territory. And so it flourished. But the town had a major fire in 11, which burnt most of the business district. There are actually 7 fires in this town.
7 big ones that really.
7 influential ones, yeah.
And you're living in town.
I live in town. I'm a new one. I've only been here 35 years. So I did, yeah. But I met the people who built that house, the family. So see, I feel like I was rooted by meeting those kind of people and working with the second generation kids that grew up here. When I first came, buildings were my fascination, so I studied that.
And why do the buildings slant so much? Is it because they settle?
Oh yeah.
They just
Well, yeah, there's nothing on foundations, and there's only a couple houses that even have one. But they're on rock pillars. That house, for instance, was built by Reese family. He came to manage the Moody warehouses. That house was dug clear down to the rock, which is not far. And so it sets on rocks,
So that's going to be the probably
and it doesn't move.
most stable house in town.
Yeah, those kind.
But everything else just starts to
It sure does, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a cemetery, a graveyard.
No, we got too shallow a situation to be digging graves 6 feet under.
So what happens?
They go, well, there's the cemetery just up the road, but a lot of people were taken back where they came from.
Do you enjoy it? Do you like being here?
Yeah, but it's because of my calling. I like to research and write. Ghost towns come in 3 categories. There's a site where nothing is anymore, but it has a history. There is a site that's still there but abandoned. And then there's a site like this one that is a shadow of its former glory. You still have some of the buildings and you can glean a lot of history, and you have people that are preserving certain things. We fit into the third one. People want to deny we're a ghost town, but we truly are.
Still, you still call yourself a ghost town
Still are.
because
We are still shadowing our former glory. We're restoring the stuff that still tells a story.